And it's my privilege to get to speak to us today on sadness. Now, sometimes we think that sadness really puts a bummer on things, just like that. And, joy tries to fix everything up, but sometimes we just can't get rid of sadness. So that's what we're going to be talking about today. And I actually want to invite the kids to come up here, join me on stage. If you are from however, just if you feel like you are a kid in spirit, you can come and join me on stage. Awesome. Now, as you guys are coming up, I have a question for you, okay? So, how many of you guys like joy? You like joy? Like that joy? She's good. She's cool, right? We like joy. Okay, how many of you guys like sadness? You like sadness? You like to feel sad? Okay. Not most of us like sadness. There's sadness. What are some things that make you guys happy? Yeah.
Jumping off a wall.
Jumping off a wall? Yeah, that can be fun. What else? Yeah, having fun with your family, maybe playing games. One more. What makes you happy? Being goofy. Yeah, those are all, yeah. Just being happy, right? Yeah, happiness is fun. We like joy. But what about sadness? What are some things that make us sad?
You getting hit?
You getting hit. Yeah, that's not very fun. Yeah.
When your dog dies.
Yeah, if a dog dies, that wouldn't be very fun either.
I know one.
Yeah.
I want to get prickled.
Yeah, when you get prickled, when you step on things.
When you fall in the water.
When you fall in the water. Yeah, these are all things that make us sad. Now, is sad a fun feeling to have, sadness? No, we don't like sadness. But what if I told you that sadness is a good thing? Would any of you believe me? No? Yes? No? Well, sadness is actually a part of who we were created to be. And so today, we are going to be talking about, we're going to look at how sadness can actually be a good thing to have in our life. Okay? So pay attention as I'm speaking, and we'll have lots more video clips for you guys. If you are 4 years old and under, you are going to head off to your classrooms, and if you're 5 and over, you're going to head back to your seat. Can you guys do that? Awesome. Thank you guys so much. You're 8, you get to go sit with your family. Well, like I said, we are going to look today at sadness. And I'm going to be speaking out of Psalm 22. So I invite you to turn there with me. My God, why have you forsaken me? Why are you so far away when I groan for help? Every day I cry out to you, but you do not answer. Every night you hear me, yet I find no relief. Yet you are holy. You are enthroned on the praises of Israel. Our ancestors trusted in you, and you rescued them. They cried out to you, and they were saved. They trusted in you, and they were never disgraced. But I am a worm. I am not a man. Everybody who sees me mocks me. They sneer at me and shake their heads, saying, "Is this the one who relies upon the Lord? Let the Lord rescue him then. If the Lord loves this man so much, then let him come and save him." But Lord, you delivered me safely from my mother's womb and taught me to trust you at her breast. From the moment I was born, you were my God. So Lord, don't be so far away, for trouble is near, and you are the only one who can save me. My enemies surround me like a herd of bulls, fierce bulls of Bashan are hemming me in. Like lions, they open their jaws against me, tearing apart at their prey. My life is poured out like water. My bones are all out of joint, and my heart melts like wax within me. My strength has dried up like sun-baked clay. And you have cast me into the dust and left me for dead. My enemies, they surround me like a pack of dogs. An evil gang closes in on me. They have pierced my hands and my feet. I can count all of my bones. And my enemies, they stare at me and gloat. They distribute my garments amongst themselves. They throw dice to see who gets my clothing. So Lord, please do not be so far away. You are my strength, so come to my aid. Please save me from the sword. Spare my life from this pack of dogs. Snatch me away from the jaws of these lions and from the horns of these wild oxen. How many of you guys found that a little bit uncomfortable? What if I told you that that was the beginning of Psalm 22? I don't know if you followed me with that. But these are the words of a psalmist crying out in despair to God. When we think about our worship, usually it's not about sadness. Usually we're thinking about praises and joy and being happy. But yet here we have this desperate plea crying out to God. And it sure makes me feel uncomfortable. How can we say these things about our God? But if you're honest with yourself, you can probably relate to this psalm. And this is because sadness is a reality in our life. And lament is a way that we deal with this sadness. And so I'm going to be speaking about lament. But lament is something that is hard for us to do. Because most of the time when we encounter sadness, we don't know what to do with it. We're very uncomfortable with it. And so we might end up trying to do something like this.
Hello, did I wake you?
You have to play that.
Well, I have to practice, and I don't think of it as playing so much as hugging. Okay, first day of school, very, very exciting. I was up late last night figuring out a new plan. Here it is, fear. I need a list of all the possible negative outcomes on the first day at a new school.
Way ahead of you there. Does anyone know how to spell meteor?
Disgust. Make sure Riley stands out today, but also blends in.
When I'm through, Riley will look so good, the other kids will look at their own outfits and barf.
Joy. Yes, Joy? You'll be in charge of the console, keeping Riley happy all day long. And may I add, I love your dress. It's adorable. Oh, this whole thing? Thank you so much. I love the way it twirls. Train of thought, right on schedule. Anger. Unload the daydreams. I ordered extra in case things get slow in class.
Might come in handy if this new school is full of boring, useless classes, which it probably will be.
Oh, sadness. I have a super important job just for you. Really? Mm-hmm. Follow me.
What are you doing?
And there. Perfect. This is the circle of sadness. Your job is to make sure that all the sadness stays inside of it.
So, you want me to just stand here?
Hey, it's not my place to tell you how to do your job. Just make sure that all the sadness stays in the circle. See? You're a pro at this.
We don't know what to do with our sadness, so we try to stuff it away in its own little circle or maybe push it into a closet so that I don't have to deal with it, so our family doesn't have to deal with it. Nobody has to deal with it. But here's the thing. When we stuff away our sadness, things are just going to get worse. And if you've watched the movie, you find that Riley, she's got all these mixed emotions and she's suppressing her sadness, and things just continually get worse for her. And this is why we need to learn how to lament. If there's one thing that I want you to take away from the message today, it is that. We need to learn how to lament. Number one, because sadness is natural. Okay, sadness is not a bad thing. Not only is it something that we shouldn't stuff away, but it is actually something that is part of who we're created to be. In Genesis 1, verse 26, God says, "Let us make humanity according to our likeness. Make them just like we are." See, this is what God is like. Our life reflects who God is. And God also has sadness. It is God's sadness that his heart breaks for us when we are going through turmoil, and that same sadness is a part of our life. And not only is it part of who God is, but we also see this in Jesus' very life when he came down to earth, and when he is on the cross in Matthew chapter 27, verse 46, Jesus is hanging on the cross, and he uses the same words that we saw in Psalm 22, and he cries out to God, my God, why have you forsaken me?" Even Jesus cried out to God in despair. And one of my favorite verses in the Bible, John chapter 11, verse 6, it says, Jesus wept. That's it. If you're looking for a memory verse, pick that one. It's only 2 words. Hard to get that one wrong. Jesus wept. I love that verse so much because it shows that Jesus was just like you and me. Even he broke down into tears. And so sadness is a part of our wonderful design and who we were created to be. In fact, as much as 40% of the Psalms in the Bible are lament psalms. We even have an entire book of the Bible that is dedicated to lament. You guessed it. It's called the Book of Lamentations. And so if we have all of this scripture dedicated to lament, then why is lament something that we find so hard to do? Lament is not something that we need to shy away from. No, it is something that is actually good and healthy for us to have. Let's watch this video.
I know you don't want me to, but I miss home. I miss Minnesota. You need me to be happy, but I want my old friends and my hockey team. I want to go home. Please don't be mad.
Oh, sweetie.
We're not mad. You know what? I miss Minnesota too. I miss the woods where we took hikes.
And the backyard where you used to play.
Spring Lake, where you learned to skate. Come here.
See, just like Riley, when she came to her parents and she expressed her sadness, she was welcomed with warm arms. And she experienced a connection with her parents that she had never experienced before, and it took her deeper into relationship with her parents. And the same thing is true about our sadness when we lament to God. Our lament draws us near to God. In the same way that Riley was afraid that her parents were going to be mad at her for what she was saying, Sometimes we can be afraid that if we really tell God how we're feeling, if we show him our sadness, or maybe even our anxiety or grief, or maybe even our anger towards God, we're worried that somehow he's going to think less of us. But it's just not the case. Just like her parents who said, "Oh, honey, we're not mad." They can actually relate to her, and God is not mad when we come before him. He welcomes us with open arms, and we experience the fullness of God's love and compassion because God knows exactly how we feel. Because like we already said, sadness is a part of who we were created to be, part of who God is. And so when we come to God in lament, when we lay everything bare at the cross, this is not a bad thing. No, this is a good thing. Because the alternative could be that we're holding it all in for ourselves, away from God. And when we try to keep it away from God, it actually draws us away from him. But when we come honestly before our Father, we are focusing our attention on him. And this makes all the world of difference, because even in the moment when we may feel despair, we are experiencing God's love and his compassion and his comfort and his care. And as we do this, we move into a new part of lament that is so wonderful and so great for us, because lament builds our faith. Not only does it draw us near to God, lament actually increases our faith and our spiritual maturity. First, because when we come to God in lament, it is an exercise in our faith. It is trusting that God is going to hear us. And it is trusting that God is going to do something about it. And we know that God will do this because he is a faithful God, because he is a good God, because he's a compassionate God. And not every time it's going to happen the way that we think it will, but we do have the confidence that God does what is best for us, and he will help us through our time of grief. And as we trust in him, slowly but surely, his faithfulness will be revealed to us, and we will come to see what he is doing and working within our lives, and he will begin to restore us and to heal us. And so this grows our faith as more and more we experience all of God is. And it is so wonderful. And finally, there's one more way that lament can grow our faith. And that is because as we experience the compassion of God, as we experience what it is like to be sad and to walk through that sadness, our capacity for compassion increases. And this video clip from Inside Out shows this well.
Hey, it's gonna be okay. We can fix this. We just need to get back to headquarters. Which way to the train station?
I had a whole trip planned for us.
Hey, who's ticklish, huh? Here comes the tickle monster. Hey, Bing Bong, look at this. Oh, here's a fun game. You point to the train station and we all go there. Won't that be fun? Come on, let's go to the train station.
I'm sorry they took your rocket. They took something that you loved. It's gone. Forever.
Sadness. Don't make him feel worse.
Sorry.
It's all I had left of Riley.
I bet you and Riley had great adventures.
Oh, they were wonderful. Once we flew back in time, we had breakfast twice that day.
Sadness.
It sounds amazing. I bet Riley liked it.
Oh, she did. We were best friends.
Yeah, it's sad.
I'm okay now. Come on. The train station is this way.
How did you do that?
I don't know. He was sad, so I listened to what...
Hey!
It wasn't joy that made Bing Bong feel better. He needed sadness because sadness knew what it was like and what he was going through. It is the same thing for us. If we learn how to lament and how to process our sadness, this increases our capacity for compassion so that we may reach out to our family, to our friends, and most importantly, to those who are lying behind these walls, who have never encountered the love of Jesus. And we have a way to relate with them, with the brokenness in the world, and to help them walk through that and to come to know the love that Christ has for them. And as we experience this love, as we draw near to God through lament, as we experience his faithfulness as he responds to us, our faith grows to a more complete understanding of who God is and a more full experience of how he loves us. And so this is why at the end of Psalm 22, our psalmist actually moves into praise. Our call to worship this morning was the last part of Psalm 22. And here the psalmist is saying, Lord, let your name be known through all the earth. All generations will praise you. You are a good God, because this is our experience. This is what will happen when we come to God in our lament. Lament opens up a whole new realm of what it means to be loved by God. So what can we do with this? How can we respond to what we've heard today? I want you this week to write down a lament to God. It can be about something that is troubling you right now. This might be the worst time in your life. And the best way for you to process this sadness and to experience healing is to lay it all before God. Hold nothing back. Be honest. Our God is big enough to take it. I promise you that. But here's the thing. You don't need to be sad right now, this week, to lament. Because we have a God whose heart is broken for this broken world. So ask the Lord to break your heart for what breaks his. What injustice is it in the world right now that is tugging at your heartstrings? And lament to God about that. And maybe writing isn't your thing, and that's okay. But here's an alternative that you can do. Like I said, almost half of the Psalms are lament psalms. So go through it this week and find a psalm that speaks to you and read that psalm out loud and read it as your own cry out to God. Because as we lament, we draw near to God and we experience all that he has to offer us. And once we do, we are brought to the place in tandem with the psalmist where we can say, God, you are good. I'm going to invite the worship team to come back up on the stage.